Acupuncture Secrets, tonight at 6:30.
Would you look at this? This is just incredible. 1936 Rolls-Royce Phantom 3. You shut the door on, well, it was Greta Garbo's car. That's not Greta in there. That's the lovely Anne and the lovely Catherine. You kind of look like Garbo. There's an explanation for this, which we're going to get to a little bit later in the show today. There is also an explanation for all of this greenery, well, flowers. I guess you can call that greenery, can you? Boutonnieres and things. We're going to talk about Art Deco. That involves the car and a showing coming up of original Erte Art Deco jewelry. We're going to talk about flowers for Easter, what you might give your man, something new that's happening as women are now giving flowers to men. Also, Carol Starr continuing her series on astrological lovers. Now that you've got that man from the previous series, what have you got now? We'll find out 3 more signs today. All of that coming up, plus a restaurant review. Big show. But first, of course, we'll go to Coleen Cook for the latest in Art Deco news. I don't know. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim. You look like something out of The Great Gatsby.
I should hope so. What's happening?
Okay, lots of things. Well, another person has been arrested for threatening the president. Authorities picked up a transient in the lobby of a Los Angeles Skid Row motel last night. They say 23-year-old Ronald Pepler was on a payphone at the time making threats to kill President Reagan. Pepler is now under observation in a hospital. It's not the first time for him. He was apparently arrested 2 years ago for making threats on President Carter's life. Well, the Secret Service says the attempt on Reagan's life has apparently brought other would-be assassins out of the woodwork. They now say there's an upsurge in the number of threats. And Secret Service agents have told Congress the Freedom of Information Act has gone too far and is seriously hampering efforts to protect the president. Agents claim they no longer can get the kind of intelligence information they need to spot suspected assassins.
It's less than satisfactory, the guidelines under which the FBI must work. We're now receiving about 60% of what we used to receive.
In other words, we've created a system where we have lowered the defense of the president by denying you access to information that you would ordinarily get because other people don't trust us to be able to keep their secrets anymore.
That's correct.
Agents admit there were past abuses, but they now say the pendulum has swung too far the other way. Well, the Secret Service is investigating the similarities between 2 letters, one that was found in suspect Edward Richardson's hotel room that threatened the president's life, and the other which was mailed to a religious magazine in Louisiana. That letter threatened to take action to move America back to the left. The wording in the 2 letters is said to be almost identical. Well, President Reagan had another restful night of sleep, but there's still no word on when he will leave the hospital. Doctors say it could be as early as tomorrow or not until next week. They also say that the president should work only a couple of hours a day when he does go back to the White House, and doctors say no wood chopping or horseback riding in California for a while. Well, the president has gotten a number of gifts to take back to the White House with him. They've ranged from flowers, a music box, to a glass pig filled with jelly beans. But the one that takes the cake is the one from 10-year-old Barnaby Ballard of Albany, New York. Barnaby sent the president a live goldfish in a bowl that used to hold jelly beans. The note that accompanied the fish said that its name was Ronald Reagan II, and that the president was instructed that if he fed the fish daily, it would do just fine. President Reagan has complained about feeling like a bird in a gilded cage. Well, now Ronald Reagan II will know what it's like to live in a goldfish bowl, literally. The president was told this morning when he woke about the death of General Omar Bradley. The 5-star general who died last night from a heart attack will be buried in Arlington National Cemetery, according to military officials. And 2 well-known rock music celebrities are dead. Robert the Bear Hite, founder and lead singer of Canned Heat, died of a heart attack this week. And Kit Lambert, who discovered the rock group Who, died in England from head injuries he got in a fall. Well, former Yippie leader Abby Hoffman, who faces a 3-year conviction on cocaine peddling, says he's asking New York Governor Hugh Carey for clemency because he's afraid he'll be murdered in prison. But the governor says he doesn't have the power to pardon Hoffman. Meanwhile, singer-composer John Phillips, founder of the Mamas and the Papas, got off much easier for his part in the scheme of illegal pill selling. Phillips got 30 days in jail and a $15,000 fine recently, as well as an order to devote 250 hours to the fight against drug abuse. And speaking of drugs, marijuana supplies have dropped and prices have climbed in the nation's big cities like Chicago and Los Angeles since the federal government's major Operation Grouper raid 3 weeks ago. But officials in other cities say that the pot trade is still flourishing in most places. And another drug is flourishing in Southeast Asia. Officials say that a bumper crop of opium, the substance used to make heroin and morphine, is expected to find its way to the United States this year. Closer to home, Maricopa County Sheriff's officers and Mesa policemen have arrested 2 members of the Dirty Dozen motorcycle gang on drug selling charges. The 2 were picked up overnight after being found with $30,000 worth of pot in their possession. While lawmakers all over the country are trying to discourage drug abuse by passing laws against the sale of drug paraphernalia, the courts are busy overturning those laws, saying that they go too far. Meanwhile, a new study says that doctors are among those most dependent on drugs and alcohol. The study also says that the pressures of the job also drive some doctors to making mistakes during surgery. Well, California doctors say they're so pleased with the progress of heart-lung transplant patient Mary Goki of Mesa that they've taken her off the critical list, and they hope to perform another such operation very soon. They say the discovery of drugs that kept her from rejecting her transplant are a scientific victory. And space scientists are hoping for a victory on Friday. Astronauts John Young and Robert Crippen will get in another landing rehearsal today before heading for bed in their last night of sleep on Earth until Sunday. The astronauts were up before dawn this morning to inspect the shuttle in preparation for tomorrow's scheduled launch. The NASA spokesman says the pre-launch preparations are uneventful, and that's a good sign. The mission has had dozens of setbacks and doesn't need any more problems. Well, an allergist claims that research into the cause of arthritis has failed because doctors didn't realize that common foods can trigger the disease. In a statement to the American College of Allergists, a New York doctor claims that milk and beef can cause arthritis. And if you're troubled with indigestion, white bread could be the culprit. A new medical study says about 20% of the carbohydrates from the flour used to make bread are never properly absorbed by the system and can lead to tummy trouble. And it's not bread, but T-shirts that are causing the problem in England. English T-shirt makers are hopping mad because the Queen has forbidden them to print the faces of Prince Charles and Lady Diana on T-shirts. Now, they say that foreign distributors will flood the market and ruin their business. And the situation has gone all the way to Parliament, with the Prince himself being asked to intervene. And an update on another English lover, London's Cha-Cha. The panda gave his American intended Ling Ling her first kiss this week. Zookeepers hope that the first sign of affection will lead to love, marriage, and little pandas. The 2 got their first glimpse of each other on Tuesday. And we'll get another glimpse of the kind of weather that we all came here for. It's in store for us today and tomorrow, the kind that's perfect for just about any kind of outdoor activity. We're expecting continued sunny skies and unseasonably warm temperatures today and tomorrow, becoming breezy by tomorrow afternoon, with today's high near 90 degrees and tomorrow's high in the upper 80s. Right now, we're just sitting at 80 degrees in Phoenix, Jim.
That's the kind of weather that'll make things grow out of a duck's back. Did you send me this? No, I'll quit it. Actually, this is the newest trend in giving flowers to men for Easter. We will talk about that very shortly after this.